Oh my gosh, my spouse filed for divorce. Am I too late? Should I have filed first? This is a frantic call that we've gotten more than once. It doesn't matter who files first. It really doesn't. I get it. It can feel like you're behind the 8 ball, especially when you see the word defendant under your name instead of plaintiff. But it's gonna be okay. You're still gonna have your opportunity to be heard. All we gotta do is file a counter complaint. The person who files first doesn't have an advantage and they haven't won. If your spouse raced to the courthouse first and you have defendant under your name, one of the things you might be worried about is that they get to present their case first and then you present yours second. So first of all, deep breaths. Most cases settle and you're not going to go before a court. But second of all, would you rather have the first word or would you rather have the last word? I personally like having the last word in the fight. When it's time to file for divorce, the first thing you're going to do is work through a complaint for divorce. It's likely going to be a complaint for an absolute divorce. If you have children, it's going to include custody, and it's going to include all those big important things: asset division, child custody, anything having to do with retirement or spousal support or alimony, and any other things that the court needs to consider to make sure that you can get divorced. Once you have written it out and signed it under oath, there's also some ancillary paperwork that has to go with it. Just an information report, something to make sure that the court knows where everybody lives, where everybody's address is, and all those kind of things. Then we file it. Because we are attorneys, we are able to file it online in Maryland, and in the District of Columbia, we will also go ahead and file it for you. After that, you get what's called a summons back. And the summons is what you serve your soon-to-be ex-spouse with. You serve them with the summons, the complaint, and the information report. And by you, I don't mean you directly, because the other party cannot directly serve the other party. It sounds like a weird rule, but I do understand why. Because back in the day, people would have to serve their opponent, and they would file what's called an affidavit of service saying, "I did it," except that they didn't. And then when that person inevitably didn't respond, they'd have a default entered against them, and that's not fair. So that's why the court makes sure that somebody other than the litigants serves the other person. Serving can be done, very peacefully. Hey, I have a service. Can I, send it to you? Can you come pick it up? Can your attorney accept it on your behalf? Can we drop it off at your house and you sign for it? Or if they're hiding, there are a lot of different ways that we can find them. We can serve them at their job. We can wait for them outside the house before they leave. And if none of that is working, you can always file a motion for alternate service. But either way, once you file, once you get that summons back, the next step is serving. After the other side has been served, they have an opportunity to file their own pleading, their response to your complaint, and also to file a counter complaint on their own. And once that has happened, it's time to move forward to the court process. We still have a lot of people coming to us wanting to file a divorce based on fault grounds. Maybe they were cheated on and they want a divorce based on adultery. Or maybe they're a victim or survivor of domestic violence and they want to file based on cruelty grounds. I understand. I understand the desire to have a judge listen to your story and decide your ex was wrong, that they wronged you, that they committed marital fault, they didn't honor their wedding vows, and they were wrong. But it's 2025, and in Maryland, fault grounds are gone. We got 3 grounds for divorce, and none of them involve fault. I know that hurts. I know it feels sometimes like a betrayal that the court is not going to say, you were wrong, you did wrong, you were a bad actor, you were a bad person to the person that hurt you. But the thing is, the court is not here to judge relationships, and the court is not here to issue a memorandum of law on your relationship or how you treated each other. The court is here to make decisions for the best interest of your children, to divide your assets, and to handle any kind of support issues that have to happen after. Your marriage was a business deal in many ways, and now you got to dismantle the business. And that's what the court cares about. If you were hoping for fault grounds, I'm sorry, you're several years too late. But that doesn't mean that you can't have the new beginning. Take that fault, take what was done to you, find a good therapist or a divorce coach, and work your way through it. Because you don't need to drag that baggage into your new beginning. And that's what we're here to help you do. To look at the life down the road that you want to live 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, and to help you get there. Don't focus on the pain of today, focus on the future. At Z Family Law, we don't write endings, we create new beginnings, and it's time to create yours. All right, so you've decided to file for divorce. Now it's time to make a plan. At Z Family Law, we do this with every one of our clients. It's called a legal strategy meeting. And at the legal strategy meeting, we make a plan for your divorce and for all the different things that we're going to do in your divorce. And that's because planning works. In the same way you wouldn't start a business without a business plan, you wouldn't buy a house without figuring out the finances. Divorce is a big and important step, and you want to think your way through. If you're just sitting there at home and you're not ready to call our office yet, or you're sitting at home and you're thinking about it and you want to make sure that you're thinking about the right things, here are some things I want you to start thinking about. The first thing I want you to do is close your eyes. I know it sounds really corny, and yes, I do this with clients, but just for a moment, close your eyes. And I want you to picture your life 5 years from now. Where do you live? When you wake up in the morning, what do you see? Do you have pets? What kind of pets? Where are you living? In what state? In an apartment, in a house, in a townhouse? With others? Alone? What do you have for breakfast? And when you leave, are you driving somewhere in a car? Are you taking public transportation? And where are you going? Where are you working? How are you spending your free time? And once you have that vision, that's when you work your way backwards. If you have a different job, what kind of education do you need to get there? Or what kind of retraining do you need to get there? Okay, how much is that going to cost? How do we figure that out in your divorce? Okay, so you said that you had children, and where were your children going to school? Okay, you want them in private school? All right, let's figure out how much that costs, where you need to live to get there, what the tuition's going to be, what the application process is going to be like, and how we have to involve the other parent. All right, so you said you wanted to live in a townhouse in Ohio. Okay, well, we're living here in Maryland. Now we have to talk about a relocation case. Let's figure out how, in this settlement, we can figure out a current or future relocation. I don't know how to get you to California if I don't know that California is your destination. So the best way to prepare for divorce is to figure out what that dream life looks like 5 years from now. Because once I know where you want to live, what kind of relationship you want to have with your kids, what kind of relationship you want your ex to have with your kids, where you want them to go to school, what your job's going to be, how you're spending your leisure time, and what kind of relationships you want to be having, now we can work our way backwards and re-engineer your new beginning.